What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. There's a really funny meme, and you should get your news from memes. We certainly do. We want to be the meme, in fact, of Joe Biden walking through a cemetery, and the meme says, Joe Biden visiting his voters before Election Day. And of course, it's really funny because, well, dead people voting for Democrats from beyond the grave. Quite the meme, quite the meme. But is it just a meme, or is it reality? Check out this banger from Scott Pressler about a vote soon to be taken in Louisiana. Louisiana recount. Did you know that the Caddo Parish Sheriff's election was decided by one vote? A Democrat won, even though Republicans ran the state, right? Republican governor, Republican attorney general, Republican legislatures, supermajorities in the legislatures in Louisiana. But a Democrat won the sheriff's election by a single vote in a Louisiana parish. There were more than 43,000 votes cast and around 77,000 mail-in ballots, which will be rescanned, which should, of course, be illegal. Louisiana's touchscreen voting machines did not produce an auditable paper trail. So, the election official said, we know at least 2 voters voted twice, and that the votes of at least 5 people who were deceased on Election Day were counted. The recount is set for November 27th, which is tomorrow. Well, this is very interesting. So, is Scott correct? We love Scott, obviously. We're not questioning Scott, but let's look into it. AP News. More than 43,000 people voted in one election. Candidate won by 1 vote. The Democrat, right here, this guy won. Sheriff's race in Baton Rouge, northwest corner of Louisiana. The candidate for parish sheriff demanded a recount on Wednesday after losing by a single vote. 43,000 people cast their ballots. The tight race shines a spotlight on Louisiana's recount process and its outdated voting machines, which do not produce an auditable paper trail. That's very bad. Experts say critical to ensuring the election results are accurate. State recountabilities have proven to be exceedingly important, especially following the 2020 presidential election. Multiple battleground states and reviews between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. This extraordinary narrow margin absolutely requires a hand recount to protect the integrity of our democratic process to ensure that we respect the people. John Nicholson said, the Republican candidate who trailed by 1 vote. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and look at what these votes have to say about the vote process in Louisiana. Voting irregularities include 2 people voting twice in Caddo election. So wait a second. How would you vote twice? How is that possible? Exactly. Well, we interestingly know exactly how this is possible. While there are dozens of irregularities, the biggest one appears to be 2 people voting twice. Clerk Court Mike Spence confirms to local news that the individual voted in both early voting period and the general election. Well, hold on. My ears are ringing right now. What does this remind me of? Oh, yeah. 1,000 miles away from Louisiana in Massachusetts, you have the exact same problem.
10 Boston exclusive. State and local officials are looking into allegations of attempted voter fraud in Lawrence, and we've exclusively obtained video footage from a Lawrence man's home appearing to show a woman removing ballots from his mailbox.
Check this out. Okay, so here we go. They go on and they show the actual footage. Here's the woman removing the mail-in votes.
Out 3 ballots from a Lawrence man's mailbox. This is the man who didn't want to be identified, but says he went to go vote in person on Election Day last week and was told, according to the list, he already voted.
There you go.
He
Boom.
checked his camera footage.
There you
and
go.
Contacted police. The Essex County District Attorney's Office and Secretary of State William.
There you go. And check this out. Later on in the this is amazing. Listen to this woman.
More. It's premature to say how many.
The second report filed was from this Lawrence woman who's still waiting for elections officials to decide whether her in-person vote will count or the mail-in, which she says has her signature forged.
How come it's not going to be counted if I'm voting right in front of you and I'm telling you that that vote that you have there is not mine?
That vote you have there is not mine because the signature is forged because somebody stole my mail-in ballot, voted early, hoping I didn't show up to vote, and then I showed up to vote, and they're like, sorry. This is how broken our election systems are. Now, this was in Massachusetts. This is in Louisiana, where they're saying that individuals voted on both early voting period and the general election. Oh, baby, that's exactly how. voter fraud. At least 2 people voted twice in the Caddo Parish election. That was decided by 1 vote. This is the local news report of that.
Breaking news at 6. Just minutes ago, sources confirmed for us that at least 2 people voted twice in this month's Caddo Parish election. Now, that could lead to several races losing some votes based on how those people voted. It is not clear if this will impact the recount for the sheriff's race. So look for the first alert on air and through our News 12 app once we get new details on this developing story.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have shown you again and again and again the flaws inside of our election systems that are now leading to races being totally thrown out, like, for instance, in Connecticut. So you can go from red state to blue state to red state. Iowa, there was a big 52 federal counts of the same thing. A woman voting early, illegally, fraudulently. She was a Republican. Her husband was running for the office, and she was going throughout the Vietnamese community in Sioux City, Iowa, and taking all the votes and casting votes for her husband. It's all the same. The crime is not a stripe of party, although it does tend to be Democrats doing this. We're just saying we're calling balls and strikes here. We hate voter fraud, period. We don't want our elections to look like this. And in Louisiana, which is a red state, and very, very red at that, again, the Republicans just ran the House, ran the entire table. Governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, supermajorities in the House, supermajorities. We're not saying that Republicans cheated here. We're saying that cheating occurred, obviously. Something illegal happened because our systems are not tight and secure in this country, and they should be. It is impossible to steal an election or to rig an election when you have the little old ladies who are counting the ballots, who you have to request a ballot from and show up in person and then mark that ballot. It is really easy to steal an election when you mail everyone ballots, which is, of course, what happened in Massachusetts and what's happening here on your screen in Connecticut, where Democrats cheated other Democrats. And that's, of course, happening up and down the East Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening in swing states, which is really troubling, swing states that must be won by somebody to become president in the United States. Joe Biden won Pennsylvania by a fraction, okay? And Donald Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016 by a small amount of votes. And so every vote counts, of course. Every vote counts everywhere. But in Pennsylvania, there is a county that keeps switching votes. The machines keep switching votes. Part of the criticism here is the voting machines? Yes. Yes, indeed. Check this out. Voting machine trouble in Pennsylvania County triggers alarm ahead of 2024. Officials say the issue didn't affect the outcomes of the votes. Oh, really? Prove it. Prove it. We're at the peak of mistrust of one another, and until it subsides, a county like ours needed to be nearly perfect, says County Executive Lamont LeClure in Northampton, where a glitch is causing the machines where people vote to switch their votes. The glitch switches a vote, so you go vote for candidate A, and it says, vote for candidate B. Boom. These are the machines that they use.
The new voting machines that will be introduced in November 2019.
So these are the machines in Northampton. This is the Northampton Judge of Elections. Of course, this is the Judge of Elections. Yes, exactly. Chardonnay cat mom. And these machines have had errors in 2 elections. Check this out from the article. In the 2019 election, that was the first time Northampton used the touchscreen voting machines for the election systems and software. That year, programming glitch caused ESS machines to significantly undercount the votes for the Democratic candidate for a local judge's race. Then on November 7th of this year, Northampton residents who showed up to their local polling places found the printouts of the same devices didn't match their votes that they had submitted digitally for 2 down ballot judge contests. Here's from the article, ladies and gentlemen. Where are you reading this? InfoWars? Nope. Reading it from Politica. So the machines are switching votes. That's what they're doing. Again, we could play you again, and I get tired of talking about it. I mean, I'm not really tired of talking about it because it's the most important issue in America. But again, these machines are switching votes. Early voting led to people casting multiple votes. Here we go. Voting irregularities. People voting twice. You're seeing this play out around the country. I'm trying to make the point that this is not a party thing, although there does seem to be a lot of Democrats committing fraud against other Democrats. That's happening in Arizona. That's happening in Connecticut. That's happening in New Jersey. Is it happening in Georgia? An Obama judge just declared that electronic voting machines are not constitutional, that they may violate people's constitutional rights to have their votes counted securely. Constitutional challenge to Georgia voting machines are set for trial early next year. And before you come to cancel me, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I'm on the side of Kamala Harris on this one.
To audit, but also what they can do around best practices and best machinery. We are talking with them about the fact that it is probably best that you do not have your election system connected to the internet. Because that will create greater vulnerabilities. And then look at where we are now in this year of our Lord 2018. We're talking about paper ballots, but that actually might be one of the smartest systems. Going back to, a day when we could have something tangible that we can hold on to, because Russia cannot hack a piece of paper like they can a computer system connected to the internet.
So really important to note that paper ballots doesn't mean mail-in ballots. Paper ballots is you go to your polling center, a local library or elementary school or whatever. Mine happens to be a library. And then you request from a little old lady your ballot. Please give me my ballot. Here is my ID. She checks your ID. She checks your registration. She gives you your single ballot and you go and you fill it out and then you get it counted. And you stand there for the whole process. That's a paper ballot. A mail-in ballot is something totally different and should be illegal in all 50 states. Mail-in ballots should be outlawed. Patterson City Council president and wife stole mail-in ballots. Democrats rigging an election against Democrats. Am I allowed to talk about it now? Same thing happened in Connecticut. Look at this. The criminal conspiracy was done to get himself election in 2020. This from a Democrat in Patterson City, New Jersey. According to the state attorney general, who said that Mendez and his wife and 2 campaign supporters stole mail-in ballots from residents' mailbox, filled some out, and then tried to mail in fakes in an effort to win. In all, hundreds of ballots were stolen, falsified, improperly delivered during the pandemic. Mail-in ballots were how votes were cast. These people aren't being charged. Here's the Attorney General of New Jersey website. Voter fraud is common in America. I can take you to page after page after page of election fraud convictions. Page after page after page of election fraud convictions. Doesn't matter the state. Arizona, Georgia, California, red state, blue state, Florida. Here's some from Florida. Connecticut. Fraudulent use of absentee ballot. Duplicate voting. Fraudulent use of absentee ballots. Ineligible voting. False registrations. Duplicate voting. It's common. Don't let them lie to you and tell you that it's not. And also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you keep your head on a swivel and that you are prepared to fight for election integrity. We must in this country. It's not about Republicans winning every election. I don't want to live inside of a fascist nation. I don't want that, actually. What I want is secure elections that everybody can agree on, can see in transparency, and that you can bring me a stack of, if I call for it, you can bring me a stack of ballots. Here's one pile for candidate A. Here's one pile for candidate B. And this stack's a little higher than that stack. Go count them yourself. That's how an election should be done. Says me. Says Benny. And Kamala Harris, my bestie. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for safe elections. See ya.